Hello and welcome to the first episode of the Ultradrive Podcast, where we dive into the world of ultra sports. From endurance challenges to epic adventures, we cover everything that pushes human limits. Get ready for thrilling stories, expert insights, and all things ultra. Today, we are sitting here with Aaron, the host of the podcast.
Hello Jelle.
Hello, Aaron.
How are you?
I'm fine. And you? How are you?
Yeah, very good. I'm looking forward to this new challenge.
It's really an honor for me to sit here with you and start this podcast, start this adventure with you. But first of all, I just want to hear who you are and how you got to this point to start a podcast with me about ultra sports and about the mentality of sportsmen and sportswomen. Of course.
Yes, of course. That's why we're doing this podcast. And before our first episode, which we're actually doing next week,
reveal her identity.
Yes, we will soon announce her. So next week we have a special meeting with a very special guest. So, but before next week, we wanted to do a first episode where we introduce ourselves to our listeners.
So stay in touch with our socials to see who will come on the podcast, who will our guest be. So Aaron, first question for you. Who were you as a little kid? Who was little Aaron?
Yes, I was a bit a shy young guy actually. No, I was very active and sports was everything for me. I was totally into football. And at that time also cycling, because here in Belgium it's everything about cycling. But my dad was a goalkeeper at that moment, and he took me with him to play football, and he learned me everything about goalkeeping and playing football. So when I was 5 years old, I started playing football here at the local team in Geluwe. So and after that I just grew into a sports guy. Sports is my whole life so important to me, and it's also a drive to pursue goals and to start new challenges. That's the most important thing about sports for me.
So you got the infection of sports from your dad, he told us. And you were also a goalkeeper. You started football at a very young age. Was your father like the big example? I want to be a goalkeeper as well, or how did you play soccer?
Yes, it was. He was my example. I think that's a bit naturally. If you were so young and you always look up to your parents. I also looked up to my mother, of course, but at sports it was my father. So I was also a goalkeeper when I started. But right now I'm not a big guy. I'm 1.70 meters. Yeah, right now if you want to be a top goalkeeper, you need to be 2 meters or at least 1.95 meters. And it became pretty obvious that I couldn't be a pro goalkeeper later. And then I switched to be a field player, a striker.
A striker?
Yes. Okay. I wanted to score goals and
and you knew how to do it because you was a goalkeeper yourself, so
yes,
you knew the tricks of the other goalkeepers.
Yes, I knew where the goal was. So as I said, it was to grow in a sport like football, and I could go to some big teams, but at that time my dad said, "No, Aaron, we're not going to do that. Focus on yourself and." Later, they will, if you're still a good player, they will come back for you.
And how was that for you as a little kid? Because you are dreaming of those big sports teams, and then they come and your dad says, no, stay at your place, stay at a local sports club. Were you frustrated at that moment, or you said, okay, No problem. Huh?
Yes, I was frustrated and I'm still frustrated. Yes, that I never could experience something like that. I could go to Kortrijk. They're now still playing in the first division in Belgium. I know there were a lot of young kids at that time in Kortrijk, but yeah, it feels like a chance that I never could grab.
A chance to become professional football player, or a
Yes.
chance to just see how it goes over there and how everyone is guided, the physiotherapists, the coaches, nutrition. I don't know how if they use nutrition already for the young people, for the young football players or not. Do you have regrets for what exactly do you have regrets?
That I didn't get the chance from my parents.
Yeah.
That they said, okay, Aaron, we're not going to do that. Stay in Helu, stay in your local team. And yeah, okay, I was 8 years old at that time.
Yeah.
I know it's very, very young. But, you know, it's you can go to a first division team. It's crazy when you think about, okay, I get the chance, I can go.
Yeah.
They came to see me play. And they said immediately, okay, we want you. So I was at that time very, I knew what I could. And I can say I was pretty talented. And after that, I was mentally, it was tough for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you look back now to that moment, do you understand the decision of your parents?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Of course, 100%. Yeah. I understand them because I was 8 years old. It was like I needed to stop every day 1 hour earlier with school. Yeah. So they said, okay, focus on your school also because it's important, especially when you're 8 years old. You still need to learn riding and calculate everything. Of course it's important, but for me, I wasn't bothered about going to school.
Yeah.
It was, as I said, sport was everything for me.
Was it at that moment, so you stayed in the local club, were you still motivated, or was it like, okay, fuck,
Yes.
I'm still here, what I'm doing here? Could you still motivate yourself at that moment?
At that moment, not really. I needed it. It lasted 3 months. But then I said to myself, just play football, just enjoy with your friends playing football. But I needed 2 or 3 months to look back and to come back to myself and say, okay, focus and go for it again.
Yeah. To find new goals.
Yes, of course.
At the local club.
Yes. But then I changed team because my dad also he quitted with goalkeeping and he became a coach.
Okay.
In Kruisbeek. So then he took me with him, and
which is even a smaller team.
Yes, it's very small. But actually I enjoyed it there, and it was a whole different experience than in Helu, because Helu is also known for his youth, for the youth development. And from that moment when I moved to Kruisbeek, I played 1 season there, and then I started with cycling.
Okay, what happened? What took you to cycling?
My brother.
Your brother.
Yes, but also, as I said, in Belgium, cycling is everywhere, is everything here in Belgium. As I said, you knew it, I'm named after Sven Nys, so my full name is Aaron Michel Sven.
Okay.
My dad is was a big fan from him, and he said, okay, I want to name my son to him. So when I was young, we watched him a lot. I still remember we go to the cyclocross in Havre, Kokzijde, Loenhout even. Yeah. That was a big example for me also. Tom Bonen, Philippe Gilbert. Yeah. These 3 guys were my idols and my examples. So that was the big turn for me to go to cycling.
So you wanted to do like your brother, you said. Did you want to copy your brother, or was it more like I want to copy Sven Nys because I have the same name as him?
I would like to copy him, but no. Yes, my brother started with cycling, but as I said, cycling was always a part of our life when we were young. Riding with our bikes and everything, the whole day going away riding with our bikes and just enjoy life actually with and on the bike. But then my brother, when he was 12 years old, he started with cycling, and I saw him racing and I thought I want to do that also, and I can do it also. But again, my dad say, no, Arden, you need to wait. Yeah. But then I refused to run on the pitch the Sunday. So I didn't want to run on the football pitch.
So you walked all the...
Yes. But I still scored. So I didn't want to run anymore, and I said no. I want to start the cycling, and then he said because he always said no, you have to wait until you're 12 years old.
Yeah.
Because my brother also always said I want to be a cyclist, but he also needed to wait till when he was 12 years old, and but I got a chance, so I could start when I was 9 years old.
9 years old. Okay. Are there already competitions then for
yes,
9 years old?
Yes. In Belgium there are, but let us say before the racer world there were some technical exams you needed to do, and it was a little bit. It was more playing than racing. But so there you had the technical exams, and after that you had when I was 9 years old, it was 10 kilometers.
Okay.
So sometimes me and my dad went to the whole other part of Belgium just for 10 kilometers. It's actually crazy when you think back of it. It goes like this. You can start with cycling in Belgium from your 8 years.
Okay.
But that's really young. It's crazy. And also the bikes you see from some guys, it's crazy.
And the bike is bigger than the guy who's
but also some parents arrive there with their mobile home.
Okay, already.
Yes, already the new S-Works with the Roval wheels and everything.
Okay.
You can imagine it just like the pros.
Yeah.
And for us it was crazy. It was like, oh,
it's a whole new world for you.
Damn, what's this?
Yeah.
All those guys with bikes from that point it was 8,000 euros.
Yeah.
So it's crazy for a 9-year-old.
Yeah.
I just arrived there with my Bianchi.
Yeah.
From my mother actually, because my dad bought it for my mother, and she went one time.
Yeah.
One time she rode the bike one time, and then she fell with the pedals. with the pedals, and after that she said, "I don't want to do it anymore."
It happens to everyone, I think.
Yes. Also, everyone. But no, then you just grew into the sport, and you get obsessed with cycling.
It's really interesting what you said. You said you were still playing football, but probably during summer holidays. You went out with the bike all day long. What is the feeling you have at cycling that you don't find in football? What do you like at being on your bike when you're on your bike that you don't have when you're on the pitch?
Let's say football is a team sport.
Yeah.
Cycling is also a team sport, but it's different. Because sometimes you see it, because I'm also watching football right now. When one player of a team doesn't perform as well, doesn't perform at his best, they still can win a game. But as a cyclist, when you're not performing at your top, you will get dropped from the peloton, so you can't compete in the team feeling. So you always need to be 100%.
Yeah.
Also mentally.
Yeah.
For me, the more older I get, mentally it is so important.
Yeah.
If you're mentally tucked into the performance or if the race, you become better.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me mentally, it's such an important thing. Cycling is very mentally for me.
Yeah. So it's the mentality that you need to have to be able to race, that you really like to have as a challenge to be able to be there at 100% with your head.
Yeah, and also when you go to train, for example, I always like to train alone.
Yeah.
Not also because it's better to train alone on your own pace, but also mentally after school, for example, the Wednesday afternoon in Belgium is the training day for everyone who goes to school. But yeah, after school, just relax, go for a ride, and making the head empty.
Yeah.
And that's what I liked about and still like about cycling.
Which is less possible when you're on the pitch with 10 other players screaming.
They're screaming and balls everywhere and no. Give me a bike and I'm happy right now.
Okay, so the regret isn't too big.
No. I don't regret that I quit with football, but I regret that I didn't get the chance to grab such an opportunity,
to experience the
yes.
Nice. And then you were still very young. How did your cycling career evolve?
In cycling, it's about making a step every season. At the start, it was good. I could stay in the peloton my first season, and then I grew every season. But also a big thing with me was, I'm not the tallest guy. I'm not the most muscled person. But that, as I said, I grew. I make the step every season. And when I was 13 years old, actually 12 years old. So I was 2 years into cycling. When I was 12 years old, I could grab my first victory.
Okay.
Yes, actually crazy story. I chased the whole race, the peloton. I was like 10 seconds behind the peloton.
You were
the
dropped.
the whole race. And at the final lap, I came back into the peloton.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I did it, but I positioned myself for the sprint, and we came out of the last turn, and just started riding. And I said, "Oh shit, I'm gonna win here!" And actually, I won. And everyone was like, "How did you do that? How is it possible you rode the whole race behind the peloton? You were 15 or 20 seconds behind, and now you win the sprint here." I said, I don't know how I did it, but I was so happy. The feeling to win it's indescribable.
It must be amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
and I was like I wanted to scream from happiness, but nothing came out of me, and it was crazy. And also the happiness from my dad and my grandparents at that moment it's always special to win a race.
Yeah.
It's always special. But then actually that year when I was 12 years old, I won 3 races, 2 road races and 1 on the track. Again, the mental aspect, when you win a race, you change as a cyclist.
Yeah.
You know, okay, I can win races.
Yeah.
And from that moment you make a switch and something changes.
It makes me think the story I heard once, and it's about this mentality. You need to be a winner to be able to win, because you can have the physical capacities, but if your head says no, I can't win, you will never win. There was a story of a cyclist that got a peppermint of his trainer, but his trainer had said, okay, this is a special pill. If I give you this, you will win. It was just a peppermint. He gave it to the cyclist, and the cyclist won. He was believing it was a special thing, that he will be able to sprint faster, and he was able to, but it was just a peppermint. So it shows how important the mentality is in sports, actually.
That's right now we're talking about cycling, but as you said, in the whole universe of sports, it's mentally, it's so the mental point is so important as for a sporter. And right now or in the past, we were so focused on be ready physical, but we were not so looking for the mental aspect of an athlete. And the mental aspect is so important. So important.
Yeah. What I really like at your story as well, your first race you won, you rode all race alone.
Mm-hmm.
And you just said, like, I like being alone to train. When I'm on a pitch with 10 other people, then there's too many chaos, there's too much chaos.
Mm-hmm.
And you train alone, and then you ride the whole race alone, and you win your first race.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah, actually, I never thought about that. It's in that way. Yes, actually, yes. Yeah, no, but I'm also that person. I'm not a person to jump on tables and everything. No, I'm more at the background and looking from, listening, actually. I'm a very good listener.
Okay, cool.
That's also why I like podcasts. I can listen to podcasts from 3-4 hours. Yeah. It doesn't bother me. And yes, as I said, I'm not the guy who needs always to be on the front foot, but more in the background and alone, easy. Also in preparation for a race, just leave me alone. Yeah. I don't need anyone around me. Also after the race, just leave me. Give me some time, 10-15 minutes, and then I'm back.
Yeah. So no reporters to...
No. I will be a little bit the type of, Mark Cavendish, for example.
It's interesting.
Yes. Because I hear always, Mark Cavendish, to the journalists, he's not also always that nice guy. But then I think to myself and I say, Aaron, you will be the same. You will be the same. You will do the same. I can, just imagine yourself just sprinted. You just lost a sprint in the Tour de France, for example. And immediately there are, just a whole peloton of journalists around you and asking the same question. Yeah. After every race, that you get after every race. And you just want to say, okay, just leave me alone. Yeah, no, I understand why some athletes are frustrated in the interviews.
I think it's something very interesting because if you have all those cyclists who are answering in a political correct way, it's boring to watch actually.
Yes.
And then you have a Mark Cavendish or Remco Evenepoel.
Mm-hmm.
They just say something, and it's not always political correct, but it's nice. It's human.
Of course.
It's getting the humanity back to sports actually. And that's what I really like when those people say something extraordinary or something that is not political correct.
Yeah, that's 100% true. Right now in Belgium, there is also a big case about Kevin De Bruyne, who said after a game from Belgium, he said, he had some criticism on some players. He said, they're not making the jersey wet, they're not giving 100%. And every journalist and every people here in Belgium says like he doesn't need to say that. It's not political correct to say that towards your teammates. But on the other hand, you also think from he's a winner. Yeah. He wants to win every game. Yeah, and that's the mentality you need to have to win something. That's a true winner.
And probably it will change something, or there's more chance that it will change something because everyone is watching now. Will it do something? Will it change now or not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's it. And that's
some pressure
also,
now.
Yeah, that's also why we're doing this podcast, to see behind every athlete the mental aspect, how they mentally prepare, what they expect from themselves. Because that's also a big thing. I'm also a person who asks a lot from myself. I was not happy when I was 10th. I wasn't happy when I was 3rd. I wasn't happy when I was 2nd. I only was happy when I won. And right now, looking back to my cycling career, I think you expected too much from yourself. I was 12, 13 years old. I needed to win every time.
But did it have a negative effect on you?
Yes.
In what way?
As I said, too much pressure on myself.
Yeah.
Too much too much pressure, and mentally it was hard for me.
Yeah, it's hard to bear. Yeah.
Yes, and also for my parents and my grandparents and everyone around me.
Yeah.
Every race I was not happy because I didn't win. But that's my mentality. When I lose, I'm not happy.
Yeah.
When we were young, and my brother and I played a game.
Yeah.
On the PlayStation, for example, and I lost to him.
Yeah.
And he started laughing at me, and it didn't end very good.
Yeah. And did you change now? And in what way did you change that now the mentality isn't something hard to bear for you?
Well, I didn't change too much. I will still want to win every time, but I'm more like, okay, yeah, next time we will see. Next time we will try again.
Okay.
I'm starting to become more a person that says, okay, we will see next time.
Okay.
Because when I was 13, 14 years old, I said, I walked the whole week with the same mentality. Okay, why didn't you win? You can't. You're not made for cycling. You can't do it.
Yeah. So the negative thoughts.
Yes, negative
they came
thoughts.
up.
Yes.
Yeah. And now they don't.
No.
Is it like now you're more taking, okay, didn't win something and something? Do you see it as a learning moment? Okay, I failed, but actually it's not failing because I'm learning something of
yes,
it.
Yes, that changed my mentality right now. Yeah. Because also listen to a lot of people who are saying, as you say, from when you lose, learn from. Yeah. Why did you win? Yeah. Why did you not do your training 100%? Can you do something to prepare you more than you did? For example, focus on nutrition, focus on mental preparation, do a better training schedule, for example, sleep better. Then when I lose, look back and I say, okay, what can I improve? Yeah, that changed because.
So now it's more focus on growth.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Because in a lot of coaching, business coaching, they always say to the people, you have to focus indeed not on the failing, but what you can learn from the failing. So actually people are failing forward, actually.
Yes.
And if you're focused on, okay, I failed, I'm not made for this, I'm not good for that, then you will never start something else, and you will never succeed in what you really want to succeed.
No, that's true. That's 100% true. Yes. Exactly.
Okay, that's really interesting. That you changed this exactly, and that now you're watching life differently. Can I say it like that?
Yes, 100%. I'm still young. I'm 22 years old, but I quitted with cycling when I was 18, and then I didn't ride my bike for 3 years, and that changed my mentality completely.
Yeah. Do you know why?
I don't know. Maybe I started with working or so. And I said, okay, is this my life for the rest of my days? But
you met your wife, or
yeah,
maybe that changed.
Since I met my wife, I was actually 16 years old. So my 2 last seasons in cycling, maybe that's also a reason why I quit at cycling. No, she was always very supportive and still is. No, that's not the reason, but my mentality is completely different. And
what did you why did you stop cycling?
I had a big crash.
Okay.
I had a very big crash. I'm happy to be still alive.
Okay.
Yes. Some people who are watching cycling maybe still remember the crash of Wout van Aert. It was in Vlaanderen. It was the same.
Okay.
Still a big road, a large peloton, 120 riders at that time, going downhill. Yeah. And I wanted to get in front of the peloton, so I started to go forward, but took risks. And I actually don't know what happened for the 100%. But I hooked with my forewheel, with my front wheel, into another rider, and my spokes broke. I just fell on my right side, and I just was directly KO.
Okay.
Yes.
You lost consciousness.
Yes. I was directly, and I came awake for 1 second, just a split second, and I saw I was laying down on the road with a hole. It was everywhere was blood around me, completely back KO, and then I became awake in the ambulance, and I saw someone who was very nervous, and I had a big wound on my head. You can still see it here. I still had the scars, but I couldn't move everything. So I was happy that I could move everything, because the season before that I broke my collarbone. So that saved me. I'm 100% sure, because the plate was still in my collarbone. I think that held it together. But then it was in the Ardennes that I felt. My parents were also on that race, but they were standing a bit farther. So my team leader calls my father, and he said, okay, Aaron crashed, and he's going with the ambulance to the hospital. But we don't know which hospital. So for my parents were like, okay, shit, what now? My son is there in the ambulance. Where will he go? How is it with him? Because my team leader also said it's not good at him. So my parents in total shock. My brother started calling every hospital in the near area, and it came out that I was in the hospital in Serrain, and they arrived there, and then just doing the checks for my head and my shoulder and everything. But just a normal check, but became really really fast. It was really fast known that I didn't have anything, but my teeth were broken, and but after that, and my whole body was full of wounds. But after that, it's crazy that I didn't broke something. I still can't believe it. Because in a peloton of 120 riders, I crashed in the middle of that peloton. So they say they were laying 20 riders on me. And everyone who I see and still see, they're saying, we really thought you were dead. So I'm still happy I'm so happy that I'm alive.
Afterwards, you immediately stopped, or what happened then?
No, I said, okay, I want to be back on the bike, but my bike was broken. So I needed to start on another bike that I wasn't used to. My team said okay, Aaron, you can ride with this bike. But then you come back in the peloton and everything comes back. You're scared to do something, and I'm fast. I'm a sprinter, fast at the finish, and I couldn't position myself. And
you're traumatized, actually.
Yes, I had a trauma, and then I quickly said okay, Aaron, no, stop it, because I was also bringing other people in danger with my moves I did, just because, as you said, I was traumatized, and it was not a good move to start directly again. I needed to take my time. Then also my parents said, and my grandparents said, okay, Aaron, we don't want to experience this a second time. And then you start to think about your girlfriend at the time, your parents, your brother, everyone around you. You say, okay, there is another life behind, outside of cycling. And also, as I said, I was 18 at that time. Started working, less time to go to train. Also, okay, I'm not a big talent, because I rode together that season with Remco.
Okay.
Evenepoel, so you know. He's 1 year older than me.
Yeah.
But when you ride with him, you know very quickly that you don't have the same talent.
That it's another level.
Yes, it's another level completely.
Yeah. Okay, and then you stopped for 3 years, you said. Then you started again. How is it now to be in the peloton? Do you still have those images, or
no?
No.
When I started again with cycling almost 2 years ago, I didn't have my trauma. I just rode like nothing happened. Also, right now in the peloton, I don't think about that.
Okay.
When I'm in a downhill, then maybe yes.
Yeah.
I still think like I did the World Championship Gran Fondo.
Yeah.
3 weeks ago. Then there was a very big bunch, 400 guys, 435 guys, to be precisely. Then you think, don't take too much risk, because everywhere around me there were crashes happening.
Yeah.
It was a crazy experience actually. But no, right now when I'm on the bike, I don't think about it. I can think about it when I'm in a big peloton, and especially when it goes downhill.
Did you do something special with the trauma, or just time and it vanished, or how?
Yes, time.
What did you do?
With time, it vanished. Also, you grow as a person, and you learn to cope with that.
Yeah. And do you still take the same risks? Or you're a little bit more?
I don't take the same risks, because also I'm saying, I need to go to work tomorrow. I need to earn money.
To provide for your family.
Yes, it's not my life as cycling, and that's why I don't take so much risks at this moment. I did take a lot of risks in Denmark in the World Championships, because I said to myself, Aaron, this is your only opportunity. You only do this once. You made the trip from Belgium to Denmark. Just focus and just go into the peloton and go into the chaos.
Yeah.
And then you start giving some shoulders and that, and it's crazy actually. It's crazy.
Do you enjoy it at that moment? The adrenaline, or I don't know.
Yes, when I look back, yes. Yeah. But at that moment, you don't think about. No, you're just focused. Focused on reaching the finish line and reaching it in a good position.
Yeah.
And also, we had a race. The race was 150 kilometers long.
Yeah.
So it was a hard race, and I was a little bit dead at that moment. Okay. So maybe that also played a role. I wasn't fully focused anymore in my head. Yeah. But okay. Yeah, I just wanted to get a good result in Denmark.
Yeah. So you explained that you went to Denmark for the World Championship Gran Fondo. But I imagine it's not just going to Denmark. How did you prepare? How did you start at the project of, I want to go to the World Championship Gran Fondo?
Yes, I was searching for a goal for this season, because you need to come through the winter.
Yeah,
but that's the biggest thing. Set a goal every season.
Yeah,
is my vision. And I said to myself, the World Championship Gran Fondo in Denmark, because next year it's Melbourne, the year after it's in the Middle East, so that's too far for us here in Belgium. I set that goal. I said I want to ride the Marmotte in the Alps, the French Alps. Yeah. And I want to ride one qualifier, because you need to qualify for the World Championships.
And the Marmotte isn't a qualifier?
No, the Marmotte isn't a qualifier. So I rode in Aachen, Germany. Yeah. It just 20 kilometers over the border with Belgium, so it's not that far. It was a new qualifier, so I heard it's a good course. And then I prepared. I said to myself, you need to do this and this and this, because I'm also a cycling coach, so that helped. Helped me. That helped actually a lot to prepare myself. And just growing every week, growing every month, looking back, okay, what did I good? How much did I improved this month? And just...
Were you quite sure in advance to be able to qualify?
No, because I didn't have a clue from, okay, what is the level?
Yeah.
How good are these guys that I need to ride with? And also, it was 5 years ago that I did a race. That was the most hard point for me, that I didn't have a clue which level have these guys, how fast are they gonna climb, for example. But I was quite sure for myself that I was on a good in good condition, and it ended really good in Aachen. I became the 106th.
Okay.
From there were a lot of starters. I think in my category, the 19 till 34 years old, we started with 1200.
Yeah.
So my brother, after the finish line, he was ecstatic. He said, "Oh, what the fuck did you do, man? It's crazy. The 106th from 1200 people, actually in my first Gran Fondo." So I was really happy, and I was with the first 25% from my age group, because the first 25% of the age group are qualified, can go to the World Championships.
Yeah.
So I was happy, and after Aachen I prepared myself fully for the Marmotte, which is a total different Gran Fondo, because Aachen was more punchy, climbed from 3-4K, but in the Marmotte there are their cols, Col du Glandon, 21 kilometers of climbing, Col du Télégraphe 14, after the Col du Télégraphe, Col du Galibier, which is 18 kilometers.
Yeah.
And then to finish it, Alpe d'Huez, on top of Alpe d'Huez. So it's totally different. I lost 3 kilograms.
Okay, you did.
Yes. In January was 66 kilograms.
Okay.
And when I was in June, before the Marmotte, 60. So I lost a lot of weight.
1.70 m.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And right now I'm thinking I'm too lean. I need to gain some weight.
Yeah.
And that's also my goal. My goal for next year, going into the winter, gain some muscles, gain more weight.
So no fat.
Yes, because here in Belgium, it's totally flat. And there are no mountains in Belgium.
So you need some weight to
yes.
to be able to follow and to compete.
So every day I go to McDonald's to eat fries with Big Mac.
I heard there will be a McDonald's here in the neighborhood
yes.
in the near future, so it will be a good thing for you. Okay. And then the Gran Fondo Marmotte, how did that go? Because it was another type of race. You lost some weight. How did you do it? How did you have a pacing plan? How did you prepare yourself?
Well, I knew when I'm riding on this power, I can sustain it for the whole race. So I said, ride on 220 watts. You can sustain it. I was comfortable. Actually started the Glandon at 210 to get some margins, but I quickly felt I have a good day. I can push more, so I went to 220, 230.
Okay.
At the end of the Glandon, actually, I went to 240.
Okay.
And because I said 220 because I knew myself, you will start at 220, but you will end on 270. Yeah. But at the Glandon, I said, no, Arne, you're going to ride what you need to do. And so the last 2Ks, I did 240, but just to be in the right group. Yeah. And I'm happy I did it. And then we went into a long valley, around 20K. And there I was in a big group, a big peloton of around 100 people. Okay. Yes. I was pushing more watts on the flat than uphill.
I heard there was a lot of wind in the valley.
Yes.
Yeah. So
a lot.
It was a big advantage to be 100 people in the bunch.
No, because there were echelons.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, they were pulling echelons, and you were sitting on the border of the grass,
Yeah.
riding 48, 50 kilometers an hour. As I said, I was pushing more watts,
And on
more
the flats,
power on the flat than riding uphill.
Yeah.
So then you arrive at the bottom of Col de Telegraaf, again focusing on my power. And then I saw, okay, everyone who started quickly at Col de Glandon were behind me.
Yeah. We're having
So,
difficult moments.
Yes, they
Yeah.
were. They had difficult moments. They didn't have the right nutrition plan, maybe.
Yeah.
Because that was also a big thing for me. Okay, take in 120 grams every hour, also with a bottle isotonic drinks. And yeah, I felt also really good. Col de Telegraaf. Okay, top Col de Telegraaf. Taking some food, some bars, banana, drinking cola, and then starting Col de Galibier, and that was a hard moment, Col de Galibier, because you climbed to 2,800 meters.
Ooh, yeah.
Very high. In Valloire, so which is the top of Col de Telegraaf and the bottom of the Galibier, it was 23 degrees.
Yeah.
With no wind. And at the top of Col de Galibier, it was 0 degrees.
Ooh.
And it was raining.
Yeah.
Crazy scenes I saw there. So yeah, as I said, last 5K, it was raining on the Col de Galibier. So you're gaining elevation. You go to 2,800 meters. I froze. I was freezing cold. I was just shaking on my bike. It's crazy.
You didn't have any gloves with you.
No, but I knew my dad was waiting for me at the top of the Col du Lotaret, which is 5 kilometer. So you get the top of the Galibier, and then 5 kilometers downhill, there's the top of Col du Lotaret. And my dad was waiting there for me with some gels and an extra vest, but extra jacket, but I didn't took it. I saw the sun. And I said to him, okay, I just stopped 10 seconds with him. I took my gels. I said, I need to go. Because my group was also riding away. But that downhill was crazy. It was crazy. I was just shaking on the bike.
Oh, no.
My lips were blue. And it wasn't...
Were you afraid?
No.
Because you already had those big crashes. And now you're shaking, freezing, going downhill at, 60, 70, 80 kilometers an hour, but you weren't afraid.
No. As I said at that time, I was thinking about my big crash I had 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. No, I just saw the sun. Yeah. And I said, I need to go there.
So you actually were focused on something positive.
Yes. I was focusing on something positive. And also it stopped with raining. Yeah. So the faster you go, the more wind you have. Yeah. And it started drying. Yeah. And I stopped it with shaking, and I became very good. Yeah. But also that was the biggest thing from the Marmot that day I had every season. Mm-hmm. It started with 13 degrees, no sun. Then at the Glandon, the sun was out. Yeah. But there was a lot of Sahara, desert sand. So the sun couldn't go fully through it. And then at the top of the Galibier, it was like winter. 0 degrees, hailstorm. And then at the bottom of Alpe d'Huez, it was 30 degrees. Fully sun, blue sky. And then you started with Alpe d'Huez, and you rode also Alpe d'Huez?
No, I didn't.
No. But the people who rode Alpe d'Huez, they will know it. At the side of Alpe d'Huez, of the road, there is a little creek, and with water. Yeah. And then you are already 6 hours on the bike, and you see that water, 30 degrees. Yeah. Then it's crazy. Then it's in your head. It's like, stay on your bike. Don't go in the water. And then, the last 2K was just focusing and also enjoying. Yeah. Enjoying and be proud of yourself. Yeah. Okay, I did it. I became the 160 60th in the Marmot. Also from the 5,000 people who started.
Crazy result.
Yes, I was so happy with
amazing.
myself.
Was your brother ecstatic again? Or?
Again, yes. It's crazy. My father also. But yeah, we were there 3 days before.
Yeah.
And my grandparents were also there. And they mean a lot from me. And also to experience such a moment together with them, it's so beautiful. And yeah, I was just so proud of me. But on the other hand, I was so...
Yeah.
I was dead, man. I was dead. There was
Just
no
on the
life in me.
fries and-
There was no life in me.
Yeah.
No, but yeah,
Okay.
looking
Oh.
back, it was such a good experience.
It's amazing to have those four seasons, 5,000 meters altitude
Mm-hmm.
you had to climb. It's a really amazing story.
Yeah, and also to take the next step
Yeah.
as a cyclist, as a person also,
Yeah.
to mentally... Because when you're crossing the line, you think of the whole preparation you
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Preparation you did, your wife, my wife. Yeah, leaving her alone for 5 hours because I need to train every weekend, also in the week. So yeah, you think about that and then you say, okay, I did it. Yeah, and just, as I said, also growing as a person, growing mentally,
Yeah.
become stronger physically.
Yeah.
Taking a next step, because in cycling they always say you need to ride a Grand Tour to become a better rider, and I believe in that.
Did you feel it afterwards, like the week after or 2 weeks after, that you had more volume, or that your legs were spinning more easily when training, or how?
Well, I think it did a lot for me,
Yeah.
because when I look back at my power numbers,
Yeah.
the start of January, my FTP was very low, I would say. It was like 200.
Yeah.
But at the end of the summer, let's say July, it was 270.
270. Yeah.
So I gained 70 watts
Yeah.
in like half year.
And you lost some weight, so.
And I lost some weight. I lost
Yeah.
6 kilograms of weight.
Yeah.
So actually, it's crazy when you think about it.
Yeah.
But
So, if you put it to watts per kilogram, your FTP, how much did it raise? Can you say it, or?
yeah, I
You
didn't.
prefer not to?
Actually, I'm not. I didn't look back on that because, as I said, I lost some weight.
Yeah.
And I just want to see every month gaining a little bit, bit more, or is it 1 watt?
Yeah.
Because I do every month an FTP test
Yeah.
or test to see my power numbers.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm just growing every month, and but that's also I stopped 4 years with cycling. Right now I'm 2 years back on the bike, so it's normal that I still have to grow. It's normal.
You're still young, so you can
Yes.
grow even more. Yeah. Didn't they change the date of the Marmots?
Yes, yes.
Like last moment, or?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was last minute. Normally it was on Sunday, the
Yeah.
30th, but a week before I get an email and they're saying, "I know it's okay," but for me it wasn't that big.
Yeah.
Because I was there on vacation.
Yeah.
We arrived there the Wednesday, but I knew people who were arriving the Saturday,
Yeah.
and they couldn't compete in the Marmot.
Yeah.
So yes.
But it wasn't a problem for you, like for nutrition, carb loading. I don't know if you were doing something special, or.
No. I trained. I was ready.
Yeah.
So I did a little taper moment. But the biggest thing for me was getting used to the altitude.
Yeah.
Getting used to the weather, a new change of climate,
Yeah.
in the Alps. And I needed the first day that I was on my bike, I rode Col du Saren, which is a sideway to Alpe d'Huez. And I had really tough legs. They were really not good.
Yeah.
And I panicked a little bit. I said to my wife, it's not becoming good
Yeah.
for Saturday. It will not be good. But then the day after, the day before the Marmot, I went on a ride and I did 2 calls, and I was so good. But also my Garmin was protecting it, projecting it, and then it says on my Garmin, you're now used to the altitude.
Okay. Yeah.
So then I thought back and I learned a little bit about that, and it says, okay, you need 3, 4, 5 days, if you can, to adapt to the altitude.
Okay.
And I felt it, because then on the day of the Marmot, I didn't have any problems on the high altitude.
Okay, so people that came in last minute that maybe had to force themselves to come there by car because the race was one day earlier.
Mm-hmm.
They really had problems with the altitude.
Yes. I heard a lot of people who are saying the high altitudes getting enough air to breathe correctly.
That's very interesting.
But,
to say.
Yeah, that's
didn't know we needed that much time to adapt to the altitude.
Yes. That's also, they did a lot of studies about that, and that's also why cyclists or other persons like marathon runners are also on altitude camps to adapt, also train high and race low, as they say.
Now you had to race high as well. So.
Yes, it is.
Okay, and then you had those 2 amazing results. Then you had, I think, 1 month for the World Championship. What did you do in the meanwhile? Did you go on holidays, or did you do some smaller races? How did you plan it?
Well, I took my rest. I took 1 week of rest, also to mentally prepare myself again for the big challenge who was coming. But I married. Thank you. Then I was just fully focused on the World Championships, starting again with some basic trainings, base endurance, 3, 4, 5 hours, just again enjoying my bike. And I started to do a lot more intervals, 30-30s, 40-20s, 30-15, and so on. And also working on my VO2 max, starting with 5-minute blocks, 10-minute, 15 minutes. Actually, when 10 minutes and 50 minutes is on my FTP. But also focusing on my core stability. Because I wanted to gain some weight, because I was 60 kilograms at that moment. And I knew in Denmark it's flat. It's very punchy. So I need to gain a little bit more weight. So then I focused myself on fitness thing and gaining more muscles in my legs. And it helped, because I went from 60 to 61.5. So in a short period I gained pretty much. So I'm happy with that. But again, focusing more intervals, because there in Denmark there were a lot of short hills. So 1-2 minute efforts. And that I trained a lot to prepare myself.
It's amazing how professionally you planned it. Professionally you trained for that one big race.
It was a big goal for me, and also we're making the trip to Denmark. It also costs a lot of money. I want to do it good. I don't want to go to Denmark and just be out of the peloton after 10 kilometers.
Be like a tourist and
because there were people who were getting dropped after 15 kilometers, and I said, why did you make the trip to Denmark and get dropped after 15k? But all of respect to them. They maybe just wanted to get the experience, which was also incredible to be on the start line in the jersey of your country, and it was a nice experience. But also in preparation I raced a lot more. I did 4 or 5 small races, and that helped me also to get in the rhythm, the rhythm of the pace and suffering, because you can simulate it on training, but it's never the same. You need that rhythm to be just to get the feeling and know
the hardness of the race.
And
then you were talking already a little bit about the championship. But how did it go? What was the result?
Very good. I was 37th from the 435. So
Okay.
I can say I'm the 37th best Gran Fondo rider in the world. It was a little bit with luck, but no, beforehand I said, if I could dream, I said finishing in the first 100 riders.
Yeah.
And some people were saying, you're crazy, you can't do that. But I said, I think it's possible. With some luck, it's possible. And then we start. After 3K, there's a big crash.
Yeah.
I'm just behind that crash. But with a peloton of 435 riders, I knew, so I was halfway the peloton. I knew, okay, there's still 200 riders coming back after me.
Yeah.
So they rode into my back wheel. And I was so afraid to watch my back wheel. I thought he was broken. But after 1 second, I just started pedaling again, and everything was fine. So
Yeah,
it was okay.
Yeah.
Go. We
Luck
can
was
go.
with you that
Yes,
day.
yes.
Yeah.
And then we came on a big road.
Yeah.
Because the pace was so hard. First 30 minutes, I think I went under the 50 kilometers per hour.
Okay.
It was so crazy. And then I made a click in my head, and I said, okay, you need to go for it.
Mm.
And I made a move on the right-hand side of the peloton just before we went from a big road to a small road. So I knew I need to be in front.
Yeah.
So I made a move on the right-hand side. I get in front of the peloton. And in that corner, again, a big crash. Like 20 guys on the floor. I said, what the fuck is this, man?
Yeah.
But then I was in the first 20 riders. And the hills became good. I felt good. And also, when you're in the first 20 riders, you don't have the thing of the peloton after the corner. When you're really far in the peloton, you need to ride very hard.
Yeah.
But in the first 20 riders, you just can easily go with the flow of the peloton.
Nice.
But then every now and then there was a crash. And after right now, I'm still shocked actually. To say, what did I do?
Yeah.
Man, it was so dangerous.
Yeah.
Also, small roads in Denmark. I thought there were also always big roads. But more of the half of the course were on small roads.
Okay.
Yeah. But okay, I felt good. The one rider was going away. Mattia Gaffuri, an Italian guy. He was crazy. He was actually finalist of the Zwift Academy.
Okay.
Yeah, so he almost got a contract with Alpes in the Koning for this season.
So he's actually almost professional.
He's a pro. He's a
Yeah.
pro. I saw his power numbers. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Saw his power numbers. He rode 1 hour 15 solo,
Yeah.
and I think it was normalized power average of around 350.
Okay. Yeah.
And his weight is I think 63, 64, maybe less.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. Those numbers are for pros, and it's not a regular pro; it's a good pro, I think. But he finished solo.
Maybe he'll become professional now.
Yeah, maybe. His mate Matthias Hellemose is getting a pro contract with what is it? Orica Greenwich from what is it? Jayco Alula.
Yeah.
Yes. So next year. He's riding with Jayco Alula, but the winner of the World Championship Gran Fondo doesn't have a contract, or maybe he is right now, but he didn't make it publicly right now. So I will look forward to that. And then my teammate, a Belgian guy, finished second. Yeah. He was staying with my teammates at the same hotel. Okay. Yes, so we had a little bit of a close connection with him. Yeah. I saw him after the finish, and he said, "I'm second." I think, "Okay, you're second." No. And then I waited after the finish, and I texted my dad. I said, "I'm in the first 100. I'm sure of it," because I thought there was a big group in front, like 20 riders. But when he said, "I'm second," I said, "Okay, they weren't a big group in front, so I'm really good because I positioned myself really good for the sprint. There happened also a lot of crashes and yeah, it's crazy. Then I texted my dad, okay, I think I'm in the first 100 riders, and he said, no, you're actually 37. No, crazy. And
So
yeah, but
again, an ecstatic brother.
I think, but at that moment I was more shocked of all the crashes I saw happening, because I got really lucky, and in the last K I was always on the left hand side of the peloton, but then I switched to the right hand side to position myself better, and 5 seconds later the whole left side of the peloton crashed, so like 20-30 guys went down. And then I said to myself, oh shit, if you didn't make that move to go to the right hand side, you were now lying on the deck, on the asphalt. And I was a little bit shocked that I did that. But the day after I was so happy that I said, okay, wow, 37th.
Yeah.
2 years ago you were dropped by the local tourist club here in Geluwe. And right now you're riding the world championship in Grand Fondo in Denmark.
Yeah, it's an amazing story.
Crazy, yes.
Yeah. And now you are a big dreamer, if I can say that. What are you dreaming of in the future?
Well, next year I will be riding again with the under 23 guys here in Belgium. So it gets called the elites without contract. They say it literally. Just races again of 150 Ks. Big races. So I'm looking forward to it. That's my goal for next year. So no more Grand Fondos. Do you have a specific goal, like in this race or that race, or I want to be able to have top 10, or I don't know, if you can dream, what do you dream about? What would be possible, you think, next year? Well, next year it will be difficult, because it's a whole another. It's another level. It's a different level. So I will be happy if I can ride the big races. Yeah. If I can ride them fully out, if I can finish in the peloton, then I will be happy, because I knew, okay, you need to take some time to adapt to the level of those guys, because as I said, they're almost pros.
Yeah, the level is higher than...
It's very high. It's very high. Yes,
than you raced now in Denmark. Okay.
But also, on the other hand, there is another winter where I can prepare myself. Yeah. I will be better next year. Yeah. I knew it. Another year stronger. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it, but I don't have a clue where I can finish.
What to expect.
Yeah, what to expect, and also what is the level. I know the level is very high. But to say I'm gonna win next year and this and that, no, I don't have a clue. I can't say anything about next year.
I hope your brother will be excited again next year.
Let's hope so.
Okay,
so
Aaron,
good.
Thank you for this exciting story, for the interview.
No problem.
I see you again.
Yes. So Jelle, now let's talk about you.
Okay.
How did you grow up? How did you grow into the world of sports?
I grew up here in Geluwe, like you did. I'm a bit older than you. I'm 31 years old. 32 in November.
Okay. I'm also. My anniversary is also in November. So
okay. Something in common. And like every guy here in the region did, I also played football here in Geluwe, but I wasn't talented. I just liked to go there and train, and it was just cool to move around on the pitch, and especially that because when there were balls, I actually didn't like it anymore. I liked the trainings where I had to run a lot. The other guys, they didn't like it. I liked it a lot actually, but I didn't really have the mentality to win or to push myself. It was just playing around. I didn't watch football on the news or on the television either. It was just, okay, everybody does it, so I'll do it as well.
Okay.
In school, in the breaks, everyone was playing football, so I played football as well. I just followed the others, actually. So football wasn't really my thing. But then I got in secondary school, and there was some guy in my class who was cycling, and he was organizing some smaller races just with friends here in the region. So I went there, and I actually really liked that. But I had like a really old bike from steel, so it wasn't adapted. But I liked it to go out with my bike and to experience that freedom, the wind, the feeling you have when you push on your pedals. I really like that. So then I asked my parents, can I have another bike? Can I start to race? My cousin, he raced as well. So I went watching his races once. And then it was tickling. I really wanted to get on the bike as well and to try it. So then I got into cycling as well.
So it was also, you got into cycling also to go to look to races from your cousin.
Yeah, I just went once, but I heard the stories. I saw what he was doing for it. The family was talking about it. I liked it myself. I really said, okay, it sounds cool to be able to do that. So I wanted to try myself to see, am I able to do that or not?
But when you were playing football, did you always had in your mind, I want to be a cyclist, or I want to start with cycling?
No, not really. At the beginning, I was just doing something. I went also to music. I did a bit of everything. I just tried. I experienced some things, and okay, this isn't for me. That isn't for me either. But then I watched cyclocross a lot. Also a big fan of Sven Nys.
Okay, cool.
Tom Bonen as well. So then you just want to try to see, can I do that as well or not? What are my limits? When there were some guys in my class that started cycling, and then it was actually easy to go there as well. They were in a club. Their father was even president of the club. So then you could go on the trainings once on the Wednesday afternoon. I just went there, and I didn't even sign up. They just said, okay, you can come with us, and you see if something for you or not. And I really liked it. So that's how I got into cycling, actually.
Yeah, nice. And when you started with racing, how was it? What was the feeling when you started with racing? How
I was older than you were when you started racing. I was 15 years old, so it's actually already quite late. And the first race, it was the championship of the club. They were riding 50 kilometers an hour. I hadn't ridden 50 kilometers an hour all my life. So that was a big surprise for me. So it took some races to be able to just stay in the bunch. And actually the first race I was able to complete, to finish, was here in this village in Geluwe, in the home village. And then I made the click in my head. Okay, if I'm able to do it here, then I'm able to do it everywhere. And from that moment on, I finished almost always my races. But the first year, I was a little bit afraid to move up in the peloton. So I was always the last guy of the peloton. And if someone couldn't follow, okay, I just went before him.
Yeah, you have to be really strong to do that.
Yeah, but I didn't know at that moment. For me, it was okay. It's hard, and racing is hard, but I felt safe at that place. And then the second year, I said, okay, now I'm 1 year older. Now it's the moment to go in the peloton. And then it was fun. Then I realized, okay, when I'm riding in the first 10 with the first 10 people, it's actually a lot easier.
Yes, of course.
I really had to experience everything. I knew nothing about cycling, actually. So the second year was really nice. I tried. I did some championships as well. I got selected for the Belgium championship in Hoogledeget. So it were really some really nice experiences.
So it was also a mentally click that you needed to make to say to yourself, okay, right now I need to go into the peloton.
Indeed. I was afraid, and still the second year I went into the peloton, but always at the sides. So if something happens, I could go next to the road, next to the asphalt, next to the road. I was really afraid to really go in the middle.
Yeah, was it also because you're not a type sprinter? You're not that fast at the finish line, I think?
Yeah, it's possible.
You are more like a climbing type.
Yeah, and like you said, in Belgium, we don't really have big climbs. And at that moment, it wasn't normal to go to Spain to train during the winter or to do some races like Gran Fondo. I never heard about it at that moment. Okay, you're still young as well, but it might have been better for me to go to France, those big roads. It's more hilly, more to the Ardennes. Because if there was a hilly race, I never had any problems to follow. I'm 190 meters tall, and then I weigh like 57 kilos.
Wow.
So it's almost too skinny.
But that's a problem a lot of guys have here in Belgium. They're perfect climbing types. They're riding uphill so fast. But here in Belgium, it's always flat. They never can show their qualities. It's always about punchy types, sprinting types. And for me, I think that's a big problem here in Belgium.
I think it's better now, but when I was younger, there weren't any things from
now
Belgian
they have
cycling.
their test events.
Those test events, they go to the Vosges, the Vosgezen. I don't think so, but they didn't do it back then. Going to the Ardennes, it was like, okay, you're going to go to the other side of Belgium to do a race. There were some races over there, the interclubs. I did them because nobody wanted to go there because it was too far. But actually, for me, it was almost easy to follow. I was always waiting, actually, okay, when will it be hard when they were going up? And then they were racing downhill, and for me that was a lot harder, especially when there was wind. They were just flying away.
And when you look back on it, do you think when I was a little bit older, so let's say you're now 15, 16 years old, do you think I could become a pro or a really good cyclist, racer? With the right surrounding, like Belgian cycling doing right now their test events for juniors.
Yeah, maybe. I once went to the hospital to do some tests to see if there was no problem with my heart, things like that, but also to see how good I am, if I have some talent. And then I think I pedaled like 6 watts per kilogram or something like that.
Wow.
So that was quite a lot, but nobody knew something about watts. So I didn't know, actually. So I think I had some talent, but there was one problem. I always had an injury. I always got cramps in my toes. It's not a common injury, but with the pedals you are stuck, so you can't move. And I always had the cramps, so I could follow easily the bunch. It was easy for me. But when you have to attack, then you really have to push, and then I had the cramps. So I tried everything, but I never found a solution. And that's why after 3 years, I actually stopped cycling because it wasn't fun anymore. I wasn't motivated to train because, okay, I'm training to just sit in a bunch and wait till it's over. And I'm not a sprinter. If you're a sprinter, then you can say, okay, I'm going to position myself, and then the last kilometer I'm going to sprint, and I have a good result, but I never had it. So I once got second and top 10th place in championship. That was it, and actually I was very, very frustrated about it.
Yes?
Yeah, it was.
So it was So it was mentally hard for you.
Yeah, it was really
That
hard.
was the
for
biggest
me.
thing.
Yeah. Because it's something you like, you are quite good in it, and then something stupid like cramps in your toes
Yeah.
just make like you cannot do what you want to do at that moment. That was very hard for me. So then I went studying. So
You went study, yeah. You studied a lot and very good actually. Because right now you're working on people, setting my back right in the right position and everything. So
yeah, indeed. I think because of those cramps, I went to osteopaths, chiropractors, physiotherapists, doctors. So I experienced a lot of medical professions. And when I was 18 years old, you have to choose, okay, what will I do now? Will I study? Will I go to work? But for me, I want to study. And I really want to become a chiropractor. But the problem is, chiropractics, you can't study it in Belgium, not in the Netherlands either. I was a very shy guy. My big project of my life, cycling, failed. So I didn't had any confidence in myself either. So I just chose to go to Ghent, studying physiotherapy instead of chiropractics, my dream.
wow.
Because I didn't feel ready to go to France to study in French, not my language.
Yes.
I went to Ghent, but it was very interesting study. I really liked to study physiotherapy. But then after a while, you have to treat people as a physiotherapist, and I didn't really like that. I had a feeling, okay, I'm doing always the same thing, and I missed something. In the fourth year, I did an Erasmus in Denmark, and then I learned to talk English a little bit more. I had more confidence. I said, okay, maybe I'm ready for the next step. And then my dream was to go to the US actually to study chiropractics, because it comes from the US.
Are they more advanced in chiropractics?
It's not more advanced, but it's where it comes from. So there are more schools. It's living more in the US.
Yeah.
In the US, they aren't really talking about osteopaths. There are some, but it's more chiropractics. In Europe, it's more osteopaths. But it was way too expensive. I think it's $30,000 for a year.
Wow.
I cannot afford that. So my parents either. So then there were two solutions in Europe, and that's the UK in English and France in French. I just went to the schools, and I met some nice people in Paris, in France, and just said, okay, French is no problem. You'll see, you will be able to do it. So I went for it, and the last semester in Ghent, I took some French classes to be able to speak some French. I had to do an interview in the school. I was very stressed. In the morning, we went to Paris to talk to a professor, and you prepare yourself for the interview. And you say, okay, you're probably gonna ask me a question like, why do you want to study chiropractics? How will you pay for it? Things like that. But he asked really questions like, okay, can you explain the Kingdom of Belgium? I wasn't prepared for that, so then
that's actually difficult to explain the Kingdom of
yeah,
Belgium.
and the king changed that year as well, so it was like, okay, what's his name now? So that was a big challenge for me to speak French and to understand what they say.
Yeah. Also, because at that time, how old were you?
I was 22 years old.
So you were 22 years old, and you were changing to Paris.
Yeah.
From
indeed.
Ghent to Paris.
Yeah.
It's a completely different world.
It's a completely different world, indeed. But I had my Erasmus, and it was clear for me, okay, I can do it, and I really liked it actually. I didn't want to stay in Belgium. I really want to have an experience abroad. And then Paris for me was the gate to the world. And once you're there, it's actually easy to speak French, because you have to. If you don't speak French, then you cannot. You can do nothing. It's simply as that. Yeah.
Yes.
And I have to say, the French people, they're really polite, and they really helped me. So that was cool. And we did a lot of seminars. We traveled all around Europe for seminars. I think first year I did 10 seminars, so that's 10 weekends. We take a plane, we go to somewhere else, Barcelona, Madrid, Como, Milan, Amsterdam as well. And for me, it was amazing. It was an amazing experience to just go out, take a plane for a seminar, come back, studying on the plane because you had an exam the Monday. It was a really nice experience.
So you lived in Paris?
I lived in Paris.
Yes. Because from where we are, it's 2 hours 30 with the car to Paris.
Indeed.
But you said to yourself, I want to be in Paris. I want to live in Paris.
Yeah, indeed. Because school is in Paris, so it's easy to. It's quicker to go to school if you're living in Paris. But there is some Cité Universitaire, it's called. It's like a big place. I think there are 40 small castles. And Belgium has his castle, Luxembourg, US. So then you pay like €300 per month for a room, and you have a cleaning lady, had a fitness, had a bar, had a really fancy party room.
It's actually pretty good because my brother studied in Leuven, and for his room it was $350, I think, and it was just a room.
Yeah, but maybe now it's more expensive, but it's a really, really cool place, and people from all over the world are there, and people that are studying everything are there. There were some professional singers. There was someone who was doing the special effects of the Transformer films. There was a cardiologist from Leuven who was doing a post PhD. So it was a really rich environment. We were talking a lot about politics, about philosophy, about life. We were partying a lot as well, of course. But for me, that was the place I wanted to be. Because you learn just amazing stuff if you are with people from Syria, and there was a war in Syria at that moment. I was just eating dinner every day with people from Syria, and their friend got murdered by the US. So you experience a lot of things. You experience how life works in different cultures.
Of course. So I presume you changed a lot as a person in that period.
It was completely different.
Yeah.
I had to go out. I had to present myself, and for me it was amazing. And then what changed me a lot as well were the attacks in Paris. I was there. It was almost second month, I think, in Paris.
Oh, you was there?
I was there. I was watching football with some classmates. I think it was
because
Belgium
French
against Italy and France.
But also France was playing at that moment.
And I still remember suddenly the president of France, François Hollande, at that moment, he came up television and he closed borders. He said, "Okay, now we are in a crisis situation. The borders are closed." And that I can't go home anymore. Now and I'm like, okay, now I really have to stay here. And the atmosphere that was there in Paris at that moment was like, it's the end of the world. A war will start. It was really special, and that it was also, I'm almost thankful for the experience, because it brings you closer to who you are, what is important for you, what do you want to do in life. It brings you closer to other people as well. You see how other people react to that trauma. I'm actually almost thankful for that experience.
How long did you stay in Paris?
For 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
And after that you were graduated?
Yeah, indeed.
And then you came back to Belgium?
No, I first went to the Netherlands for 1 year. I worked there as a chiropractor and 2 practices. And then I started doing sports again. So the whole period of Paris, Netherlands, you didn't do sports? I started in Paris, actually, because the last years in chiropractic college, you have to treat patients, but you have to find those patients first. So I just took my bike. I went biking in around Paris. I met people. I met a triathlon club, the Expatrié Triathlon Paris. So expats. They don't have any family in Paris. I was an expat as well, actually. So they just have to go out with their bike together, just discover the region of Paris, which is very, very, very beautiful. It's like the Ardennes in Belgium. So I rediscovered actually my sports, but in another way. It was a social way. It was not racing. Okay, when there was a hill, we were racing.
Yeah,
that's
of
cool.
course.
But it was okay. We are going out. We will do 150, 180 kilometers, and then we will stop there in that restaurant. We will eat a pizza. I will come back together. It was very, very, very relaxed atmosphere. I really liked it actually.
Yeah.
It was another way of biking. It was another way of doing sports.
Was it there that you gained your love for the ultra cycling? Because you are more into ultra cycling.
Yeah. And
You're actually doing an event in the coming weeks.
I met someone over there, a German girl. She Bettina, she's called. She always came to my chiropractic college as a patient of mine every month because she was doing Ironman triathlons. And she said, okay, it's important that my body functions well. So she came. And after that, she started cycling a lot more. And at that moment, there wasn't a Tour de France for women at that moment. So what they did, maybe they still do it, I don't know, the day before the Tour de France of the men, they were riding the same etape, but the day before. Yes. So she did that. So she rode actually the all Tour de France.
21 stages?
Yeah, indeed.
Wow.
And the men, they couldn't do it because there was a flood when Alaphilippe was in yellow. Maybe you remember.
Oh, was it that year?
Yeah.
Okay.
So actually the women were the only people
Wow.
that did the 21 stages. But the year after, she wanted to do it again, but then COVID hit. And what she organized the Tour de France herself. So what she did was, she was living in Paris, and she did from the last 20 years at the moment, so 2020, the last stage of the Tour de France. So she started, so every day. She started at the Arc de Triomphe in Champs-Élysées. She rode to the start place, and she rode back the stage. And I saw that. I said, okay, that's nice. Maybe I should try and go with her. And then I did my first 200 plus kilometers ride with her. And it was really amazing because also it was relaxed, and we just see how it goes. And people were coming by train because they were limited by time, and it was really cool. And then the last stage I did as well. And then French television came even. Wow. So we had an interview in the Champs-Élysées.
Like the real pros.
Yeah, it was actually really cool. There are a lot of expats, so we have people from all around the world who are just doing the same thing, cycling. And they have the same goal, and it's finishing at the Champs-Élysées, doing it together, supporting each other when you have a difficult moment. And that made me think, okay, if I'm able to do 200 kilometers on my own or quite easily, maybe I can do longer rides as well. And then I searched on the internet and I found Race Across France, and then I signed up for the 300 kilometers the year after. So actually it's because of the Tour de France for women that
you started with. Wow. Just to go back to Bettina, did she ever get a pro contract?
No, she didn't. No.
And how old is she right now?
No, maybe 35.
Okay, so there's no chance.
No, but she was doing races around in and around Paris.
Yeah.
But she was quite good actually.
Yeah, because when you can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, right now she should get a contract, I think.
But I see she's still active in cycling or in triathlon. She's still a coach, and she was doing the European Peace Ride last week. They got rained out, but she's still active. She got pregnant as well, so she had a child. So I think
there are other priorities for her. But okay, after all that, you started with ultra cycling.
Yeah.
The race across France. How was your preparation? How was it to prepare yourself?
Yeah, I want to have a coach, but just not an ordinary coach. I want a coach that was able to push you for longer distances, because that was my opinion then. Like it's a normal coach who is preparing you for races or ultra distances. It's different, I thought. And I found a very interesting person who we will interview next week, so I won't tell her name. And she prepared me really, really well. I found my shape back from when I was cycling, doing races when I was 15 years old. I really thought maybe I should start racing again.
Did you?
I didn't start, but I really was thinking about it. It was really nice. It was also quite a rainy year, so I had to ride a lot in the rain. It was 2021, so COVID. There weren't any events. I always had to ride alone. We are living at the border with France, so we couldn't go into France either.
Yes.
So actually, it's a half of your terrain that is.
Because in France, when you go into France, there is a little mountain. The terrain gets a little bit more better for the climbers, for your profile.
Yeah, indeed.
Because here in West Flanders, it's flat. Flat.
And wind.
And wind, indeed.
So that it was difficult to prepare. It was also mentally hard because there were a lot of rules. You couldn't do this, you couldn't do that. For me, it was a hard moment as well. So luckily, I had my bike. Just go out and.
Was it just making hours, or also doing intervals, FTP blocks, for example?
But I don't have a power meter, so that was more difficult to have a FTP intervals. But I trained a lot with heart frequency, so it was a lot aerobic, but also some rides close to the threshold. So then I went like for 2 hours at 96%, something like that, of my threshold. So it was a lot of things, a lot of the intervals like that, and some intervals that went above the threshold as well. But I wasn't training in a structured way, so the first priority was to get a structure in my training, to go and train like for 4 times a week. Not I would just want to do 200 kilometers a week, and if I didn't train in the week, well, do a long ride in the weekends. So that was a priority, and then going to those hours. The longest training I did was 6 hours and a half, so that's quite okay. And then I organized an event myself. We went from Jelle, the village where we live. I want to go to Paris, but because of COVID we couldn't go to France. So we went to the Ardennes, which was 270 kilometers.
It's almost the same distance.
Yeah,
even farther, I think.
No, because I had to do 334 kilometers and race across France.
No, but I mean from Jelle to Paris.
Jelle to Paris, if you go through Lille, then it will be almost the same.
Yeah.
But then you have all those traffic lights. So the preparation went quite well, actually. Yeah.
So how long was the distance cycling across France?
Race across France was for me it was 334 kilometers. So I have a 300 kilometer race, a 500 kilometer, 1,000 kilometer, and a 2,500 or 600 kilometer, depending from year to year. And I did the smallest one, the 300 kilometers, which was 334.
Which is actually a very big distance.
Yeah.
Also, because it was your first ultra event.
It was my first ultra event. Yeah.
So, did you ever ride 300 kilometers?
No. I didn't ride 300 kilometers before. But I think
wasn't that mentally tough to think, I never rode such a distance?
No, because I organized the thing myself from Jelle to La Roche, which was 270 kilometers. Okay, there were cars with us, so there was always food. We were 30 guys, so if you're in the bunch, you don't have wind. But if you can do 270 kilometers, you can do 334 kilometers as well. I had 24 hours, so I thought, 24 hours, 334 kilometers. I should be able to do that. I actually was quite motivated. I really wanted to be competitive. I really wanted to go for top 10.
Because there were also some mountains you needed to cross?
Yeah, the start was in Mandelieu-la-Napoule. It's next to Cannes, so the Côte d'Azur. And the finish was on the top of the Mont Ventoux.
Yeah, so
Yeah, there are
very hard.
I think 6,000 altitude meters, I think, something like that.
Wow.
But the problem was I had to start at 11:49 a.m., so it means at noon. That was the 34th of July, I think.
So very hot.
Very hot. It was 37 degrees when I had to start, and I couldn't handle the the warmth. I couldn't handle the climate actually. So we were there, I think 4 days before the race, but we couldn't go out. It was always 37 degrees. You just stay indoors. You find some shades. You drink a lot. And that was my biggest problem. You are there at the start, 37 degrees. You will ride 334 kilometers. Okay, where will I find some water? How will I do it? That was a big challenge.
Yeah, because for the people who don't know it, you were fully responsible for your drink, your nutrition.
Yeah, it's unsupported. Yeah, so there's no support in the race. There are some points. I had one just at the bottom of Mont Ventoux, so I already had 300 kilometers. Yeah. It's called a base de vie, so it's like a place where are some beds, just in open air, where you can sleep. And you can buy something to eat as well. Just dry pasta, actually.
Yeah, but as you say, you were already riding 300k.
Yeah.
So
so I arrived there actually during the night.
And how long did you do over the 335?
I think I took 17 hours. But for me, it was also very frustrating because after 80 kilometers, I got sick.
Due to the heat?
I think so. At that moment, I didn't know it, but I just said, okay, I'm feeling a little bit sick. I'm just gonna stop. I'm gonna eat some ice cream, but it didn't go over. It just got more and more actually. I almost had to vomit. So I was just riding through the Provence at, I don't know, 23 kilometers an hour because I couldn't push on my pedals because from a certain moment I had to push. I almost had to vomit. And after 200 kilometers, you are arriving in a big city or in a bigger city, and I just lay there on the ground for half an hour or even more, just to be able to get up again. I didn't eat for almost 150 kilometers. I wasn't able to eat. So
what goes through your mind at that moment?
At that moment, you just think, I have to finish. I have to finish. I have to be able. So I started at 11:49. So at 11:49, the day after, I have to be on the top of the Mont Ventoux.
That was the only thing you could think about.
Yeah, and then I said, okay, that's last time that I will touch my bike. I was
crazy story.
I called my girlfriend. She said, I never heard you like that. You were dead. She said actually to me. So it was, I think, 11 in the evening. I had done 200 kilometers. Go and find a hotel. I said, no, I won't find a hotel. Just 100 kilometers to the point where I can sleep if it's necessary. I can sleep there. I just take 4 or 5 hours still there at my ease, and then I just have to do the Mont Ventoux, and then you see. I can even walk on the Mont Ventoux. Then I still have time enough. So that was the plan then. But during the night, it's cooler. Yeah. There was some wind. So actually, I had quite good legs then.
And you were riding uphill 30 kilometers an hour.
I was really catching up with the guys again. Didn't eat for 150 kilometers. So then, I didn't have any fuel anymore.
Yes.
And that was then again a big problem. So I had to lay down because I couldn't sit on my bike again anymore. I couldn't just standing. I couldn't be just on my feet. It was horrible actually.
So then you arrive at the bottom of the Mont Ventoux, and then I need to go.
Not yet. I had to do one call before the Mont Ventoux as well.
One call before.
Yeah. I don't know which one, but it was.
How long was he?
10 kilometers, something like that.
That's long.
Yeah, and it was at the bottom of that call that I had a problem, that I couldn't be on my bike again.
Wow.
So I was just laying there with my feet on a small wall, waiting, and other riders were passing. Said, do you have a Haribo? I really want. I just was thinking I need Haribo. I had a bag
some
full
sugar,
of food. I just want Haribo.
Sugar.
Yeah, indeed. Nobody had Haribo. No, or they said they didn't have any Haribo. Then after a while, I said, okay, if I'm laying here on the ground or if I'm sitting on my bike, it's almost the same thing. I just have to pedal. I got on my bike and I started pedaling. I did 25 minutes for 5 kilometers. Slow, you can run faster than that.
And how did you solve that problem? Because you had no fuel anymore.
Yeah. That's a cool thing about ultra sports. You are pushing your limits. Actually, you still have fuel. You just have to pass that limit.
Mm-hmm.
And I started pedaling and my legs came back. And actually I was laying there for, I don't know, half an hour, 20 minutes. I catched up with a lot of guys on the first climb again.
Then you had your moral back.
Yeah, indeed. And then it was just going downhill until the Base de Vie. I ate some pasta over there. I took some chips. And then it was just a Mont Ventoux.
Everything you had before the Mont Ventoux is nothing.
Yeah, indeed.
It's still a hard climb, 26 kilometers.
21.
21, yes.
Yeah. It was first time for me.
First time also.
Yeah.
So,
start from Bédoin at that moment. I started at 4 a.m. at the Mont Ventoux, and I was on the top at 6 a.m. So 2 hours.
Actually fast.
Yeah, but I couldn't go slower because I didn't have any gears left anymore.
Yeah.
So I had to push.
Just pushing everything.
Yeah, indeed. And I catched up really a lot of guys. Even the last 7 kilometers, I really raced. I said, okay, now it's just 7 kilometers. I'm just going to sprint uphill, and I had good legs actually. I never had any problems with my legs. I never had sore legs. I never had a moment I thought, okay, now I'm losing momentum. The only problem was I got sick. And then I got at the top of the Mont Ventoux. It was very cold at that moment. You have those surviving blankets. The sun came up. There was a sunrise. It was a very, very nice moment. But I said, okay, I'm never going to touch my bike again. And I always didn't.
But what was what was going through your head when you go over the finish line or see that famous building on top of the Mont Ventoux?
Yeah, I wasn't happy actually.
No,
because I hadn't been able to show what I could do. I never had any weak moments with my legs. It was just I was sick. I couldn't push. Nobody catched up with me when I was on my bike. I just had to lay down because I was sick. And it was not because I was pacing too hard. It was because my nutrition wasn't good enough. I wasn't eating well just during the year either. I was eating without carbs, so almost keto. So I learned that it's not a good way. I think it's possible, but if it's very hot, when it's very hot, you lose a lot of minerals when you're not eating carbs. So you have to drink and eat a lot of minerals. I underestimated how many minerals I had to take. And if you drink and you have not enough minerals, then it's just getting worse.
Yes, but with that story, let's say, can you actually prepare yourself for an ultra event?
Yeah, I think so.
Because as you say, you need to get to that border and cross it mentally.
Yeah. It's a mental game. I see ultra sports like life. Life, it's also okay. You have 80 years, 70 years, 90 years. So actually, it's like a ultra race. If you are wasting your life in the beginning, you are smoking, drinking a lot, then after a while it will be hard as well. So you have to do the right things to get further. Huh?
That's true.
And I see it actually in that way. For me, it's a test. And do I trust life that they will put a bar there to give me water when I needed it? So for me, it's a test actually. It's a test for how do I succeed life. And there is a Friedrich Nietzsche. He says, if there is a why, then doesn't matter. The how doesn't matter. And if you have a why you are doing ultra sports, then you can sleep on the ground, you can sleep in the bus stops. It doesn't matter. You you have a why. That's what I like about ultra sports, and everybody has his own story. Everybody's a little bit alternative, because it's not easy to be on your bike for 24 or 40 hours or even longer. It's you have to be alternative. There's alternative equipment. You have to have a vision of life. You have to have a vision of your own body. You have to have a vision on your own health. And you just test it. And I tested it 3 years ago with the race across France, and I wasn't good. So my health wasn't actually good enough to be able to do it in the heat.
Yeah.
So it took me long to be able to see what happened at that moment. But now I'm doing an ultra distance again in 2 or 3 weeks. And it's a test again. I changed my diet. I changed my health. I feel better as well. I feel better mentally. Okay, we'll see how it goes. And maybe it won't be good either. But then I can reflect and I can say, okay, what can I change? How can I be in a better health, actually?
So yes, because now you do your preparation fully on yourself. Actually, you said it also to me, just for fun. So how is the preparation going towards the event?
Since the race across France 3 years ago, I didn't bike until May this year, so almost 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I really didn't touch my bike.
So you kept your promise.
Yeah, I hated almost my bike.
And is that over now?
It's
or do you still have something in mind?
No, but now I know the competitiveness of just riding your bike for 80 kilometers as fast as possible. I don't like that. And there's a lot of macho guys in it with a shining bike, something like that. It's not for me, and I don't have to go in there. I have to ride alone or with friends that are thinking the same thing, and I have to do my own thing. I have to stay faithful to myself, and then I like it. Like training during the weeks for 2-3 hours, I actually don't like it, because you go out, you say, okay, it's just 3 hours. I will do the same, streets that I do all the time. But when I can go out for 6 or 8 hours, then I like it. I can discover new region. I can go somewhere else. I can go to another country. And that I really like. And then there's almost no limit for me. So I see differently now. I learned more who I am thanks to that. And I start in May because I want to do race across France next year, 500 kilometers.
So 200 kilometers extra.
Yeah, indeed. Beginning of August, I did 200 kilometers and 30 degrees, and it went well. It was slow, but I just, okay, I can do that. And then on Facebook, I saw an event. I said, okay, in Belgium, 24 hours. I will just sign up and I'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
And then you had a goal and you got more motivated. You're training even better. So now I feel quite ready actually for the event over 3 weeks. It can be tomorrow for me.
Yeah, because as you say, next year you have your big goal, race across France again for the second time. But right now 500 kilometers.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do different now than the past edition of Race Across France?
I'm more focused on nutrition, so I'm eating more carbs during the day, so that's already better. I'm even more focused on minerals. I found new products with more minerals in it that I can take with me, so that's fine as well. And I won't be alone. I will be with one other guy. Normally he should be a little bit slower than me, so it will be just a test if I'm able to do it or not. But before that, in April, I will do a race across Paris, 300 kilometers. So that will be a good test.
Yes.
Okay, it will be rainy probably and cold. But it's my region. I mean, it's Paris.
Yeah, you grew up there.
So I know the parkour. I know the hills. So I think I'm able to do it. But yesterday I listened to a podcast of the organizer of the Race Across France. He announced there will be another event, a new event. So there's an event in Belgium already, in Paris, and France, and Switzerland, and in Quebec. So all French regions. And I was just thinking, okay, where will it be? It will be another French region. So I thought Africa. I don't know if it's logistically possible to do it, probably, but I don't know. I thought maybe it will be Korsika. He will announce it the 1st of October. And if there's also a race across Korsika, I think it might be really cool to do it as well.
Yes, or maybe Guadeloupe.
Guadeloupe, yeah.
It's also, but
I don't know if it's big enough.
Yes,
because they are always organizing 300 kilometers, 500 and 1,000.
It's not big enough.
No, like Luxembourg as well. I don't think it's big enough.
No.
No, I think or it will be Africa or it will be Korsika.
Yeah.
We will see. But if they are doing a race across Korsika, I think I might try 1,000 kilometers.
Wow. Next year, not.
Yeah.
Next year.
Yeah.
Wow, crazy.
Yeah, we just see. I mean, if it's in March, of course, I won't do it. Then maybe 300 kilometers in Korsika and 500 in Paris and 1,000 race across France. I don't. But I really want to try it. I really want to try a multiple day event and just see how it goes. I'm reading a lot. I'm testing myself a lot. I just want to try it.
Yeah, ultra is it's pushing your limits mentally, physically also.
Yeah.
And that's also why we're starting this podcast. We want to discover the athletes, not just how they feel physically, but more mentally.
Yeah.
How they experience their performances they did. Yeah, that's as we said it a lot in this episode. Mentally, it's so important to be in the right shape. I train also cyclists, and when they're not fully into their training, they will not do their training 100%. It's also in the race. When you go to a race and you say to yourself, okay, I'm ready to race, then you will be ready. But if you're going to a race and you say to yourself, I don't know today, then you will not perform at your at your fully potential.
You never have control on what will happen when you have a longer event. So there will be rain, maybe there will a deer be hitting you. You don't know, but you have to adapt, and that's life as well. You don't have control on life, and if you're afraid to go out there, then nothing will happen either. And I really have that feeling like I want to try a multiple day race once. And now I'm training again, and I say, okay, why not? We just see it, and maybe I will do it with a friend of mine. Then we are two. You aren't competitive at that moment because you're losing more time when you're two than when you're alone. Because you have to stop more, and you stop for longer times. And when you are climbing, you have to find your own rhythm, and when you are with two, you are not on your own rhythm. So actually, you are fatiguing more. So you go slower. But I think it's a big adventure. I don't know the time delay, but I think you have 4 days or 5 days for 1,000 kilometers. So that's 250 kilometers a day. It's possible.
Should be possible, yes.
Yeah.
But are you in your head? Do you want to win, or is it just I want to compete in it?
If I do a race alone, then I really want to give the best of myself. Beforehand, I think I want to win, but winning is maybe too high, but I want to be top 10 or something like that. Then I go to the race, I see the other riders, and then I have the imposter syndrome. I say, okay, what am I doing here? Look at those guys. They seem like more trained, better trained. They have shiny bikes, and I'm here. What I'm doing here, and I always have it. It never goes away. But I have the mentality to go there and for top 10 place maybe. Also during the race across France, we also start separately. So every 30 seconds, someone else starts. So you have to ride alone. You can't be in the wheel of someone else. And I had to start like the fifth last person. And just the first 2 kilometers, someone catches up with me and just leaves me alone. He was sprinting uphill, but the first 100 kilometers were uphill. I said, okay, if that's the level here, then
what am I doing here?
Yeah, indeed. But I was also catching up with some guys. And at a certain moment, there was someone running quite fast, but I could follow. I was like, 50 meters behind. So I said, okay, that's a pace that is hard, but that I can maintain until the end of the race. Then I got sick, so I had to let him go. But I saw like he got in the top 10.
Wow.
So I think it should be possible, but there are so many factors, flat tires, getting sick,
of course.
things like that.
The weather.
Yeah, how can you go without sleep, things like that.
Yeah, but because that's a whole other story.
Yeah, indeed.
Because when you're riding 300 kilometers,
yeah,
you can say, I'm not going to sleep.
Yeah.
Just taking a quick power nap, for example,
yeah,
5 minutes. But when you're racing 4 days, you need to get to sleep.
Yeah, and that's also something interesting, because you need to get your own sleep rhythm. You need to get to know your own sleep rhythm. What are your sleep cycles? There are a lot of ultra distance cyclists. They take power naps of 6 minutes, 11 minutes. Why don't they take 5 minutes or 10 minutes? I don't know. Why especially 10, 11 minutes? Huh? But these kind of things. And you just have to experience, I think. I think it's stupid to train it, because then it's just more stress to your body. So you really need to do those events, I think.
Yeah, that's something. What I'm thinking right now, ultra sports, let's say now ultra cycling, you need to do some events to gain the experience.
Yeah, indeed.
And build experience and get better at it.
Yeah, and you see as well that the younger guys, often they are stronger, they are faster, but they aren't finishing as first. And then the first few guys, the older guys with the experience, they finish first mostly of the time.
Wow, so it's really about toughness.
Yeah, and it's experience to know your body, to know how you react on a certain circumstance. Now I know how I react on the heat and what I can do about it. But I don't know how we react on colds, because now it will be in October, the 11th of October. We start at 9 p.m. on Friday. So you will have worked all week long. I even work on Friday. Then 9 p.m. you start. You have to cycle through the night.
Yeah, it will be at that time in Belgium. It will still be dark until at least 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, so
almost 11 or 12 hours, and completely dark.
Yeah, and they are dense, so I don't know how warm it will be. I have no idea how my body will react on that. I think I'm in shape to be able to compete for top 10 again, but maybe I'll get sick. Maybe the cold is better for me. I have no idea.
Yeah, it's everyone has their own story.
Yeah,
it's something we always say at the end of Paris-Roubaix.
Yeah,
everyone has their own story, but in ultra cycling, it's in every race.
Yeah,
everyone has their own story and experiences different things. Like say you became sick, but maybe another guy had 5 flat tires, for example,
indeed.
Or didn't find anything to eat, for example. Yeah, it's very interesting, ultra sports, and there is a lot to be said about it. And it's actually a pity that there is not so much talk around it.
Yeah, indeed.
Okay, there are podcasts, but in the mainstream media, they're not so famous, the ultra sports. Okay. So everyone has their own story in ultra cycling, ultra sports, actually.
Yeah, indeed. That makes it interesting. Like you say, it doesn't come on television, so it's not for the fame they do it. They do it for something else. I think that's a nice topic to create a podcast around.
Yes, of course. So in the coming weeks, we will get podcasts with different guests. So the guest of next week we will announce in the coming days. Yeah. It's a pretty interesting guest, I would say. Yeah. We're very honored to have her on our podcast. So we look forward to it.
Yeah, me too. And especially it will be a different kind of sports, not only cycling. And I think I'm very pleased to discover new sports as well. Sports that aren't known, sports that maybe we don't know that exist. I don't know, but we'll see.
Yeah, because we two are right now really into cycling.
Yeah,
but we don't know anything about ultra running, for example.
Yeah, indeed.
Ultra swimming. Yeah, that's a
Sailing,
whole different
climbing,
sailing, climbing, indeed, and that's a whole new world for us too. And for us too, it's very nice to experience different sports and learning also from them.
Yeah, indeed. Because what they do in their sports, maybe we can learn something from it in cycling. We maybe can create links. We don't know. I'm very curious.
This is the end of our first episode. So thank you for the talk about our ultra and how we grew up, and a little introduce ourselves. So thank you for that, Jelle.
Thank you, Aaron, as well. It was really nice to hear your story. First listeners as well.
Yes.
I hope we'll see you again.
Yes. So next week we will have our second episode. As we said, the guest for next week will be announced in the coming days. So find us on Spotify, find us on YouTube, find us on the social media channels. So see you next time. Thank you. Bye bye.